I'm the great pretender, pretending that I'm doing well. My need is such, I pretend too much. I'm lonely, but no one can tell.
This is Andy 2. In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove and replace the hook assembly without disturbing the timing on this Singer Model 301. My understanding is this procedure will also work on the 221 Featherweight machines. I have not done that personally, so if you want to use this on your Featherweight, you'll have to decide if it looks feasible to you. Okay? The reason that I want to remove this is to take a look at it, clean it, check some parts on it, and so forth. And this is, I'll show you how I go about it, and you can see if you want to do it. So let me position this machine for filming the process, and then we'll get started. For this procedure, you may have noticed before, I did take the throat plate or needle plate off of the machine. I also have already taken off the little fold down extension table, and I think you would find that helpful, but not necessary. I've got the top cover and bottom cover off of the machine, and I'm resting the machine upside down on the top of the machine so that I can work from the bottom here. I'm right-handed, so I like to be able to reach in here and handle the hook like this and approach the set screws from the top with a screwdriver this way. And what I want to do is line up, there's two set screws that hold the hook assembly to the hook shaft, and there is one set screw right here. You see another set screw to the left of it that's on the counterbalance that's attached to the hook shaft. But we don't really do anything with that set screw, but only the two that hold the base of the hook assembly to the shaft. Now let me rotate that and I'll show you the other one. Kind of looks the same as far as set screw, but you'll notice that you cannot see a set screw over here on the counterbalance. Okay, so you need to have to see, to begin, both set screws, the one on the base of the hook assembly and the one on the counterbalance here. I don't know if this brighter light will help or hinder. I'm looking through the camera and I can see both set screws. The other way to tell this is right here at the end of my pointer is the point of the hook, rotary hook, right there. So the set screw that you want is the one nearest this hook point. It's not perfectly in line with it, but it's nearest. If we go look at the other, you see the point now rotating away, and the other set screw that you don't want has this big heel of the hook point, but no hook point, and there is no set screw on the counterbalance. Okay? And the idea is that you want to loosen this set screw. And the reason that I start with this is that on the hook shaft is a flat spot, and the set screw that's nearest the hook point needs to go on that flat spot of this hook shaft. And then we want to go inside. This is my Chapman hollow ground point screwdriver, and I noticed the tip says 89 on it, whatever that means. But you sure need a well-fitting screwdriver to take these set screws out. They can be in there very firmly, very hard. Maybe they've never been taken out, and you don't want to strip any screw, of course, on these machines, because they're kind of proprietary threading, and you can't just go down to the hardware store and say, give me one of these. So yeah, working around here is kind of a tough spot here with this big screwdriver, but it's the best fitting blade that I have to get in there. Let's see if I'm kind of hitting the hook over here. See if I can get it in there. There. Okay. As a matter of fact, before I go farther, let me show you a picture of all these set screws and the hook point and stuff, so you know where I'm putting the screwdriver. Okay, once you got your screwdriver in there, you want to break free that set screw. So I'll just push down hard and start kind of bouncing and twisting in there. I've just got it broken free so it turns easily. And I'm going to use a smaller screwdriver now just to loosen it, with the hope you can see more of what I'm doing in here. But I'm going to turn this set screw about 2 full turns. So 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2. Now that's usually enough, and you can take it out if you want, but that's 2 turns is usually enough to raise the screw above the flat spot. Now I'm going to rotate the hook. I can turn the hook here with my fingers, or I like to just turn this counterbalance over here, and I'm going to rotate that hook 180 degrees so I can get to this other set screw that's on what I call the back side of the hook base. And I'm going to get my well-fitting screwdriver in there to just break it free and loosen it. There we go. And then usually about 1 full turn on this is usually enough. You can turn it more than that. There's a 1/2, 1, because this set screw just fits on the rounded shaft. There's no flat spot on this side. Now that I have both of those off, I'm hoping that I can just pull that hook right out like that. Ta-da! And there you got maybe a little bit better look at the point right there. And what I call the base of the hook, see that big meaty part here? Then it tapers and tapers and tapers to a point. To put the while you've got this off, you can turn your hand wheel and you can rotate the shaft, because the hook timing isn't set over here. The hook timing is actually set back at these gears, where the vertical shaft comes down and gears into the horizontal hook shaft. So your timing is over here, and you're not doing anything to change that. You can turn your hand wheel, and you can turn the shafts and everything like that. And speaking of turning the shafts now, I want to rotate that shaft so that the flat spot is up towards me. And I see it here. I see it right there. Take a look at a picture. You see what that looks like close up. And to kind of verify that, here's that set screw on the counterbalance that lines up with the set screw on the hook base. See? There's only one set screw on that counterbalance. I'm turning it around. So, some people also have pointed out there's only one set screw on the counterbalance over here. And when the planets line up, so to speak, you've got the set screw on this counterbalance lines up with the set screw on the little counterbalance, which lines up with the flat spot. And that's where you're going to put the set screw. So these three set screws will line up in the end. The big counterbalance, the little counterbalance, and the set screw closest to the hook point that needs to sit on that flat spot. So now I'm going to hold my hook, and I'm going to find the point of that hook, which is right here, and then I see that the nearby set screw is right there. So that's what I'm going to slide the hook assembly back onto the hook shaft, so that set screw is right over the flat spot. Okay, and I'm going to kind of hold things there, and I'm going to take my little screwdriver and just go in and snug up this set screw. I'm going to show you, so you're not tightening it, just snugging it up a little bit. I'm going to show you how this oops, I tightened it a little bit more than I wanted to. I wanted to show you that the flat spot is a lot bigger than the set screw. See how I can move the hook left and right, and I can kind of rotate the hook a little bit to and from me. So we want that set screw to be centered on that flat spot, and we want the base of the hook assembly resting against the side of the small counterweight. They should butt up together. They should. You don't want a gap like that, because that's going to change the distance between the hook and the needle point. And there's a copper bushing that runs down through the machine, and that is set properly at the factory to have the correct distance of the needle point to the hook point. So if you leave a gap there, you're going to be off. So you want to push that up against, you want to push the hook base up against that little counterweight. Okay. And now I'll just finish snugging that up a little bit, making sure that I've got that up there. Then I'm going to use the big counterbalance to rotate that shaft so I can see the hook away from, the set screw. I'm going to see the set screw that's opposite from the hook point. I'm going to snug it up with my little guy, and then I'm going to take my well-fitting screwdriver, and I'm going to tighten that set screw on up firmly. And I'm just tightening it on the curve edge of that shaft. When I rotate this back now, I'm going to see that I have my alignment kind of set screw on the big counterbalance, set screw on the little counterbalance in here, and my set screw on the base of the hook assembly. So when that all lines up, and I'm going to verify that my hook base is butted up against that little counterbalance, which it looks perfect to me, and I'm going to go in there and give the final torque of that set screw. I don't know why this one's a little harder for me. This will be a lot easier for you because you won't have all this lights and camera and stuff around here. Come on, you. But don't forget to come back and snug this one up. Whoop. Because that's really what holds it the best. The reason I don't tighten this first is because by tightening one all the way, I have found it can throw the seating off a little bit. And you know, you tighten one set screw all the way, then when you tighten the other, it's really not seated evenly. Okay, I'm in there now, so I'm going to tighten the last little bit on that. Now, just out of habit, I usually use the big counterbalance to rotate the shaft while I look down in here where these two meet together. And I'm just looking for a gap. If I got something uneven or crooked or tighten one before the other too much, now I can see that the gap is even all around and everything is turning well. Then I have my hand wheel off, but I'm going to turn the horizontal arm shaft and see it all rotate there, and it looks really good. Okay, you did a great job. Congratulations. And that's how you remove and replace the rotary hook assembly on a Singer 301A and maybe 221 Featherweight without disturbing the timing on the sewing machine. Thanks for tuning in for this one, and I hope you come back in the future. Take care.
Like a crown, pretending that you're still